Hey guys, Wells Knight here, and welcome back to another episode of Kingdoms. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm having a fantastic day. It is episode 75. We're on we're a quarter of a way to 100 episodes in Season 2. That means that today we are doing a world tour and download. And I have updated the Hall of Patrons, so we're going to knock that out real quick, go through all the new people in the Hall of Patrons, and then we'll get to the tour. So, starting over here, we have Noman Khan, Gabriel Wilson, Zach Olgive, John Paddleford, Ransporum, Synthralis, Chris Elliott, The Modfather, Rob Lebinski, Natasha, James Pacheco, Ash4459, Renee Hain, Michael Dunn, Jack Justice, Nicholas Hassan, and Aiden Somerville. Those are all new patrons. Thank you so much for your support, guys. It really does help immensely, especially when I've had a couple of bad months from being sick and stuff like that. So really helps more than you know. But without further ado, let's get to the tour. And I think we're going to start this over here. So for those of you who might be new to Kingdoms, this is a good starting point. Kingdoms is my single-player world. There is a custom texture pack, which I made myself, that gets used in this world, and there's links to all the important stuff in the description, the world download, the texture pack, etc., etc., etc. So, Season 2 started right here. We are actually in the same world as Season 1. We're just really, really, really far away. So, this is the Season 2 area of the world. And this is Bullstone, and I'm actually going to type these out so you guys can see how they're spelled, because there's always questions. Some of the towns have much more complicated names, but this is Bullstone. It's a little fishing village, very simple block palette, just basically oak and cobblestone and a little bit of spruce. That's about it. We got some docks over here, fishing-related things, fishing nets, chests, barrels of fish. There's a statue of the town bull. Over here, there's a super smelter. There's a bunch of random houses, little potion area, starter house. This is the main storage room for Season 2 for now, although that is going to be changing pretty soon because this was not a well-designed storage room. The fact that you have to go out a door and in another door to get to half the storage was a poor decision on my part. Also, I should probably mention, we're almost certainly not going to get to everything on this tour because there's just so much stuff here. This world is very old at this point. It's a couple years old. It's been my single-player world for quite a long time, and there's just too much stuff to show in a video that's of any sort of reasonable length, but I'll show all the important bits. So anyway, this was Bullstone. If you follow this road will lead you to our second kingdom, our next major kingdom. There is one other kingdom that we started in Season 2. It's way off over there. It's like a jungle kingdom. I built like one house and then I wasn't feeling it and I abandoned it. So I don't even really count that one. But it always gets mentioned in the comments because I always leave it out of the tours. Anyway, you follow this pathway, and this will take you to Nembania, which is spelled like that. And it is named after Nemban, whose name is spelled like that. But it's named after him because he essentially saved kingdoms, and we'll kind of get to the part that he saved later. But Nembania is the kingdom that we are currently working on, and it's going to be very, very large. Let's actually take off here. So you can kind of get a feel for the scale when you look at it up here. Let's just land on top of the manor, the Lord's Manor. Can I make my way? There we go. Okay, so there's the road. This wall is going to wrap all the way around here, all the way over there, and all the way over there. This place is huge. It's going to be very, very big. This is the town square where there's a portal right now, but not much else. And then we've got our Hall of Patrons. These are pretty much all random houses. I think one of these is a tavern. Yeah, this one right here is a little inn and tavern. But other than that, none of these have interiors. There's a church over there that does have a full interior. Looking pretty good. And the lore for this area is that the people that live here are very kind of open. They're very like open society. They don't really believe in privacy. That's why the houses have so many windows. They're very trusting and they're very close-knit, almost like it's one big, huge, happy family, if that makes sense. And that's pretty much all the lore that we really have for this area right now. We don't have much as far as, you know, what kind of imports and exports they would have and all that kind of stuff. We're still kind of figuring that out because this place is still under construction. Let's go ahead and take a nap real quick. There we go. All right, nap taken, throw away, put this into Ender Chest. And anyway, this is basically Nembania in a nutshell. I like this build style. I really like the use of the Dark Prismarine. I think it looks good. There was a beacon on here, but I stole it and put it somewhere else. But anyway, let's head into the Nether. And I'll try to explain kind of the Nether system. I don't have everything labeled with signs as to like what goes where and all that kind of stuff, but it's pretty easy to figure out. And everything does have a road or a pathway leading to it in some form or another. So this tunnel right here, using the Nembonia block palette, this, or Nembania, it's Bon, as in Bonnie, not Bony, Bonia as in like bone. Anyway, so this Nembania tunnel is made using the Nembania block palette. That's how you know that it goes to Nembania. And then this is our Season 2 Nether Hub. A lot of these doorways don't really go anywhere. Like this, I think, eventually goes to like a jungle biome or something like that. It goes somewhere, but it doesn't go anywhere important. Otherwise, it would be fully developed. Over here, this goes to the end and the end portal room. And this goes to our gold farm, which we actually built fairly recently. It's wow, my brain has just shut off. The really smart guy who designs all the things. He's part of Psycraft. How am I forgetting this name right now? Ilmango, that guy. My brain, please work. It's a Ilmango donut farm. It works fantastically. That's also why I have 227 levels, in case you were wondering. But this goes to the end. And if we grab a boat out of here, we do have a nice little ice boat road that will take us all the way there. So let's just kind of zoom down real quick. Shouldn't take too long. There it is. And we can just pop into the end portal room real quick. It is all developed, if I remember correctly. I think I did this not too long ago. Yeah. Just a real simple, fairly clean end portal design. Nothing fancy. Fall in right here. There's a little staging area over here for whatever. And that's basically the end portal. I'm not going to go through the end portal right now. But that's our little Season 2 end portal room. There is a Season 1 end portal room that I actually do like a lot more, but we'll check that out later. So anyway, heading back to the main hub. There we go. Come on. We've done it. Okay. So this tunnel on the second level, that goes to the end portal. It's right next to the one for the gold farm. Down here, this, well, actually, this comes out in Bullstone, underneath, in the mines. And then this big, long tunnel right here, this goes to the Season 1 area of the world. And by boat, it's actually not too bad. I think it's about 1,000 blocks or so in the Nether. But by boat, it really doesn't take that long as you've got a boat. If you don't have a boat, it takes a million years to make this journey. So make sure you have a boat with you. But this will ultimately come out right over here. And this goes to our Guardian Farm, which is where we're getting all the Dark Prismarine to use in Nembania. So if we pop out here, this is not an area that's really been designed. It really hasn't been decorated. It's just a Guardian Farm, and it's functional. It gets the job done. I mean, you can see the Guardians kind of flopping down and falling. Most of those chests are at least semi-filled with stuff. And if I were to AFK here for a while, if I were to like AFK here overnight, all of those chests would be filled with drops. But it's really not much to look at. It exists. It's here. It works. We will come back and decorate it at some point. I actually have some plans for that, for how we're going to decorate it. But right at this very moment, it's just not much to look at. Anyway, so this goes back to the Season 2 area of the world where Nembania and Bullstone are. We are now in the Season 1 area of the world, and this is pretty cool. So, this is what I refer to as the old world, and there's a bunch of stuff down here. There is, oh, come on. Let's pop over here. We'll finish at the end. We'll finish in the end. But down here, there is a tunnel. This is like the main tunnel design for the old world nether transportation network. This goes to a mesa. There's really nothing built there. It's just a mesa for mining and stuff like that. This one goes to the end, if you couldn't tell by all the end blocks. This one goes to the Guardian Farm, if you couldn't tell by all the Guardian Farm blocks. But ultimately, if you take this tunnel down a ways, you will come to kind of where all the magic is, where all the important stuff is. And this is where things start to kind of get fun. Because I've actually gone back fairly recently in this series and started working on some of these old areas again, kind of doing some farms there and little things like that. So let's pop out right here, and this will take us into the very, very first kingdom that was built in this world. Also, this is bothering me. I don't know what the deal is with this, but the portal is like broken. And I don't really know why. I'm going to try and fix it. I have a feeling it's some sort of bug from like swapping through snapshots and stuff like that. There we go. Yeah, now it's fixed. Much better. Anyway, this is Altum, spelled just like that. It's kind of the Latin spelling. I forget what it means in Latin. I think it meant like on a mountain or something like that. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, this is essentially like a mercenary village. There's not really much here. It's more of a mercenary fort, I guess you would say. The people that live here are mercenaries. They go out throughout the world and just kind of take on jobs, whoever needs them. And when they're not out doing jobs, they spend time here doing things. So they've got like a town hall / inn / tavern / dining barracks area place. There's a couple of smaller homes over here, which actually do not look very good. But they're very small. They're not meant to be amazing. And then there's a tower up there. Down here, there's the mines and the Season 1 Hall of Patrons. And then through this door, kind of hiding back here, there's a chicken farm with... That is so many feathers. Hold on. I need to... This chest is currently overflowing. Allow me to fix this, because it's a disaster. It's so many feathers. Hold on. I haven't been here in a while. I moved the spawn chunks back here recently. I had originally moved them when I started Season 2, and then I changed my mind and moved them back to where they were before. And now, I forgot that this thing is constantly running. There's another wart farm over here. And then finally down here, there's a relatively small sugarcane farm. I wonder if this is outside of the spawn chunks. I feel like there should be more than 27 sugarcane in there if it was in the spawn chunks. But anyway, so that's all good. And then finally, leaving Altum, you have a road. And this road goes straight out this way. And you'll run into some kind of cool stuff as you follow this road. So this road will lead to our remaining villages, our remaining kingdoms that are left in this world. But as I said, along the way, there's some fun stuff. So like right here, there's a little bandit cave. And they just have a little camp in here where they've got some of their loot stash. They've got some sleeping stuff, some armor, things like that. Little campfire going. Fire spread is off in this world, by the way, for building purposes, because I like things to actually look good. And I don't want to, I like using fire as like a decorative thing. But anyway, eventually as you head down the path, it'll split. If you go this way, it will take you to a skeleton farm, which is down there. Just a simple drop farm based on a skeleton spawner. And if you go this way, it will take you directly to Anona, which is spelled like that. And this is our farming village. They are farmers. They do a lot of agriculture and lots of stuff with animals, lots of stuff with actual crops and stuff like that. The other road that goes past the skeleton farm will still take you here. It'll just come out over there by that bridge instead of this one. But ultimately, as I said, this is Anona. This was built kind of when bone blocks were like first introduced. So we went with this kind of Tudor-esque style. And there's a few things here. There's a sheep farm down here, I believe. Yep, there's a sheep farm for all of your wool needs. There's larger pens up here. There's a blacksmith. This is a barn. This is also where I store all of my crops, or at least some of them. There's a little nano farm down there that doesn't work anymore. It's broken now. Let's sleep super quick here. This was our house that we lived in while we were working on this area way back when. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of farms. Big wheat fields, carrots, potatoes, wheat, beetroots, all that kind of stuff. But off in the distance, this is Solis, the City of Light, and it's spelled like that. And yes, I know technically if it's based on I think it's Gaelic, then it would be like Solus, not Solus, but Sol is Latin for sun, and therefore it's Solus. That's how my brain worked. But anyway, so this was actually one of the areas that we've been working on fairly recently. The cathedral and these houses and buildings were built a very long time ago, back in Season 1, but the last couple episodes I've actually been working over here dealing with some villager stuff. So there's a villager breeder here that I built a really long time ago that apparently has villagers inside of it. Okay, well, that's fine. And then down here, there's a villager trading hall, which is still in need of some new villagers, but it's getting there. That's something I've been working on recently. And on top of that, if we... Let's see, where's the best way to do this? Probably from over here. I also made a couple of fully automatic villager-powered farms that do potatoes and carrots. And if you look real close, you'll see potatoes and carrots flying up here. I think that was the previous episode, actually. I think that was the last episode, right before this one where we did that. Designed by Logical Geek Boy, I believe. But I let that thing go overnight. Holy cow, we are, this thing is insane. Look at the potatoes. We've got 3 double chests of potatoes and 3 double chests of carrots almost as well. It's so fast. I need to do some villager trading. Get some emeralds going. Start getting rid of those. And I will. But from here... take off, please. There we go. From here, there's a slime farm right down here. This is a slime chunk. And that slime farm outputs to over here. Although I haven't really been AFKing at it, so it's not going super, super fast right now, because it's not always in range. But then if we head off in this direction, just out, basically just outside of render distance of Solus, this is our brand new iron farm that we just built. This is a 16 village farm, I believe. I think it's a 16 village farm. Produces like 640 iron per hour. It's amazing, and it will give me all the iron that I will ever need in this world until 1.14 comes out and breaks all iron farms. But by then, I'm hoping to have enough of an iron stockpile that I won't need an iron farm again for years anyway. So anyway, that's Solis. This is Annona. Following this road that goes west, well, kind of northwest, out of Annona, you follow the road, it will eventually take you to Woodsong, which is spelled pretty much exactly how you would expect it to be spelled, just like that. And this was kind of a Nordic Skyrim-inspired village. I'd like to actually come back here and do a lot more with this. I think I like where the village was going, but it's too small. So I think at some point we're going to come back here and probably expand it, going all the way down to the river there and kind of over. I think this would be very cool if it was much, much larger. But right now it's like 4 houses, a blacksmith, and then the Jarl's Longhouse that we're standing on top of right now, which is this big giant structure that's quite beautiful and very detailed and large and impressive and stuff. But at the same time, the village as a whole, I think, is lacking a little bit. If we fly back somewhere around here, we'll see if I can find it. Somewhere around here, there is a ravine, and I can, like, never find it from the air. But it's here somewhere. I may just have to go. Oh, hey, thing. Oh, that actually looked promising. Was that the right path? Nope, it was not. Okay, tell you what, we'll do it the old-fashioned way. It's fine. It's okay. From Annona, there's a pathway that leads here as well. And right here. If you go across and then go down through this tunnel, this will ultimately take you to... What did I name the ravine village? I'm trying to remember. I think it was Rathnor? Yeah, it's spelled like that. The Ravine Village. Rathnor, the Ravine Village. And this was kind of inspired by, like, Goblin Town from The Hobbit. Or, like, the Mines of Moria from Lord of the Rings, with lots of, like, rickety bridges and walkways and things like that, kind of built into caves. The idea is that the people that live here are kind of mostly poor, but they hoard things. They're kind of goblin-like, actually. They're tinkerers. They like to do all sorts of fancy things with technology and tinkering and gears and levers and stuff like that. But they're not exceptionally rich, and that's why they essentially live in a hole. So that's Rathnor. This is a village that I never really finished. I kind of got started with this and got kind of burnt out on it. Because I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. That happens sometimes. You know, you have so many projects going on, so many different villages. Sometimes you start one and you're like, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. So anyway, back to Woodsong. If you follow this road that goes north out of Woodsong, right here, this will take you to what I currently consider the crown jewel, the best build, the coolest thing in this world, and that is Regnu, my Roman-inspired town. There's a little traveler's camp along the way, but, as I said, Regnu, spelled like a so, just like that. And this was inspired by Rome, by Roman architecture and Roman city planning and the way that they did things. It's not meant to be Roman. I mean, the colors are all wrong for that. But it was inspired by that, on like as far as like an architectural style level, the way that they lay out their houses and their cities and stuff like that, etc., etc. So if you come through the main gate, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Stables to your left. In here, this is the Nether portal that will take you back to the main Nether hub. And then there's a large market here. The people that live here in Regnu are very kind of militant. They have a very strong military. They are, think kind of, Sparta. Think kind of like this very, like, strong military. That's kind of their big focus. So they have a big statue of one of their soldiers, in the town square, surrounded by a market because, of course, there still would be merchants and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of houses here. These houses are pretty much all empty. None of them really have an interior. And then starting over in this corner, there are some things that actually do serve a purpose. So in here, this is my 16 furnace super smelter. It is currently the largest smelter in this world, but it's still a lot smaller than I would like, and I think I'm probably going to end up building the mega smelter that I built in Hermitcraft Season 6 in this world at some point, which is basically that thing on steroids. This is the actual house that we lived in while we were building Regnum. Over here, there is a couple of other things, parrots, because those came out while I was building Regnum. In here, this is a red sand to regular sand converter, although I think this is broken now. If I remember correctly, that bug got fixed and that thing no longer exists or something like that. I don't remember. Nothing in that one. Over here, we have one of the temples. This was the temple to someone or other. I forget. There was a whole story here. I also just realized I used a beacon as a decorative block. Go me. That's kind of funny, actually. But then I remember that this temple over here. Oh, was that the temple to their god of peace? I think that was the temple to their god of, like, peace and light. And then this was their temple to their god of war. Right here. It's been a while since I, like, went over the lore, and I don't actually have the lore really, like, written down anywhere. It's just all kind of in my head. Over here, there's a Colosseum, and underneath the Colosseum is a mob farm, which is fantastic and amazing, and it was designed specifically for this world by Nembon. These arrows will take you to where it outputs. I think this was the kind of the premiere of the observer-powered water farm thing with multiple platforms, and then there would be like a clock that would fire observers, which would dispense water and basically push all the mobs off of the platform to fall to their death and get the drops. Very cool farm design, works amazingly well, and it was designed specifically for this world to be overpowered enough for a single-player world, but not overpowered enough to support a full server because like the amount of time and resources you need for something like that are considerably more. So this farm was designed to be kind of a balance between output and also like resources, like kind of a balancing act, something that was fairly easy to build, but also at the same time would be powerful enough to support my needs. In here, this is the storage room in Regnum. This is kind of my main storage room in this world. There's a lot of stuff here. Lots of different things. Some of them useful, some of them not so useful. It all just depends on like what you're looking for. And then finally over here is the Grand Library of Regnum. And this is where I store two things. This is where I store all of my enchanted books, so like efficiency books are in here, etc., etc. They're all labeled. There's a chest for each type of enchantment, or at least there was until they added all the trident enchantments. And then up here, this is where I store all my comments of the day. So those are all in here, and I'm gonna have to update this. And oh, this is season 1 comments, and then over here, this is season 2 stuff. So we've got 27, 61, because there are some episodes where I don't do one because I either just forget or maybe there wasn't a comment that I saw that I actually wanted to, on the previous episode. Like maybe there just wasn't a comment that I wanted to talk about. So sometimes I don't do a comment today, but I usually do. And those are all stored in these chests. I will move the current ones over before I release the world download, so they'll all be found here. And I think that is pretty much it. But speaking of comment of the day, let me grab one. All right, guys. I'm back. I've got a comment picked out, and also, I remembered I totally forgot to show the end and the end portal room from Season 1, which is something I mentioned earlier in the video, and then almost forgot to show, and that's just bad form. You can't mention something and then just not show it. Like, that's against the rules. So anyway, I figured we'll take a look at it while I'm going over the comment. This one's from Joshua Lobo, and he said, I first thought this was not going to be a good series. Decided to give it a chance, and I love it. And that's fantastic. I'm glad that you decided to give it a chance and that you're enjoying it. Now, the reason that I want to talk about this comment is because that's kind of the whole reason that I do these world tours and downloads every 25 episodes. I think it gives people kind of a good jumping on point, because it's one of those things where, like, people get very intimidated by the high episode numbers. They're like, oh, episode 63 of Kingdoms. I don't want to have to watch the other 62 episodes that came beforehand. That's also kind of the reason that I started Season 2, was so because people were scared to start Kingdoms at episode 150, you know? Over here, by the way, there's also a cactus farm and a squid farm that no longer works. But anyway, so I do this world tour and download because A, it's nice to give people an updated world download if you want to, you know, download the world and play around with it and look at the builds yourself and all that kind of stuff. But B, it gives people kind of a good jumping on point. Yeah, you can start at episode 75, you can watch a world tour, and basically be caught up on where the series is. Like, yeah, you don't have to watch the previous however many episodes. You're pretty much good at that point. And this, by the way, is the end portal room from Season 1. I like it a lot. I think this room actually turned out really well. Let's jump into here. I looked at an Enderman. Run! Run for your life! You'll never catch me. Ha! There's an Ender behind me, if you hadn't guessed. Alright, I think we're safe. So this is the Ender from Season 1. It doesn't work extremely well anymore, but it does work. I don't know why it's so slow. Like, I don't know if something changed, or maybe it's the other Enderman farm that's throwing it off, but that one's far enough away that it shouldn't be. It's over 120 blocks away. But, like, this thing works. It's just really slow. I don't know if they changed something with Enderman behavior or whatever. Either way, this is our Enderman farm. We also have infinity ender pearls in case you need ender pearls in this world for any reason, like ever. And then finally, there's also this Enderman farm, and this is the newest one. This was built at some time during Season 2. It's unfinished. I still need to do the decorative aspects of it, but this thing is amazing. They just come flying down, and they're super, super fast, and this is basically where I go if I want to repair any of my tools or any of that kind of good stuff. So there you go. But guys, I am out of time for this episode, and I think that is going to do it for the world tour. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one right here. My friends, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.